Viejas Arena Aztec Bowl sellout crowd ready for Gonzaga in San Diego State. It has been a long break for these Aztecs. For more on that, John Shriven.
Well, what an atmosphere in here tonight, Carter. These fans are excited because, as you said, it's been a while since they've seen San Diego State play a basketball game. 12 days, in fact, since their loss against Cal. That's one of the longest layoffs in all of college basketball. Now, head coach Brian Dutcher said it's actually been a positive thing for his team. He's been able to keep them active using intense practices, working on specific things they need to, also getting rest. Senior Trey Kell has been banged up. He missed multiple games with an ankle injury. He has a left quad contusion he suffered in the Cal game. But he is back. He practiced, but because he missed a few, he will not get the start tonight. In his place will be Jeremy Hemsley.
So both coaches actually playing with starting lineups a bit. I mean, Mark Few has shuffled his with Tilley and Williams coming off the bench in their last game. They're back in the starting five. And as John just told you, it will be Hemsley back in the starting lineup with Kell still battling injuries coming back. So Mark Few now in his 19th season as Gonzaga head coach. Year 18 was the culmination of the building job at Gonzaga, making it to the championship game. And as we get set to toss it up for Gonzaga and San Diego State, two of the West Coast's top basketball programs. And Steve, I like what you said about how this is a huge opportunity, not only for the Aztecs, but for the Mountain West Conference there in December.
When you get a brand name on your court, a quality team, that gives you an opportunity to get a quality win, which the Mountain West could use and San Diego State could really use.
Aztecs in that loss to Cal went 6 for 28 from the three-point line. First three of tonight rattles out.
And that's the kind of play that Matt Mitchell, the freshman that we talked about in the open, can make. He goes off the dribble and he finds Devin Watson, who's not a real good three-point shooter. He was wide open there.
Almost a turnover, and now it is, as Tilley had to bail out the guards. And that's a turnover as we take a look at our Bass Pro Shops keys to the game.
Well, Gonzaga can't turn the ball over, especially in this building, because that creates fast breaks, and they've been turning it over this year. That's been one of their problems. They have the defensive rebound, keep San Diego State off the glass. As far as San Diego State, they've got to do a great job on stopping Josh Perkins. He's the guy who makes them go in so many ways for Gonzaga.
Pope rejected inside. Williams got a hand on it. Bulldogs on the run. The biggest concern for the Aztecs, Gonzaga in transition. Melson turns the corner. Floater way off. Fight for the rebound. Out of bounds off of Tilley. San Diego State basketball.
You know, both these teams are primarily man-to-man teams, but I think Gonzaga tonight, after what they saw Cal do to San Diego State, could come out and play a little more zone than they normally do.
Gonzaga historically really good on the road. San Diego State historically really good at home. And it's what we anticipate will be a good test, including the Bulldogs offense, San Diego State defense. Sloppy start for Gonzaga early. Late, here's Mitchell. Travel goes home. There's your freshman, Steve.
I'm telling you, there's something about this kid. They haven't had a lot of guys here at San Diego State when they shoot it, you think it's going in. I think he's one of them.
The answer, Norvell, tapped out of bounds. It will be San Diego State ball.
What a great box out that time by Rooks, and that's important. They have done a great job this year of owning the defensive glass. That is going to be critical in this game.
Here comes the backcourt pressure from Gonzaga.
Mark Few used it against IUPUI a lot and against North Dakota in a game they almost lost, and it really set the tempo for them.
Watson, second made three early for San Diego State. A critical lift from outside for the Aztecs.
Well, when you only shoot 30% from the three-point line for the season, and as I said, you got to make 10 in this game to have a chance. That's a good start for them.
That's 2 down, 8 to go. Tilley, feed off. Williams out of bounds. You said 0 turnovers for Gonzaga, and that's already too early.
Yeah, that's something they can't do, and that's been the biggest problem for this team. They've been very loose with the ball, and a lot of unforced turnovers they've gotten.
Mitchell will take it again. And drill it again. And the Aztec crowd. Steve, you said this is the best. We've done a lot of San Diego State games. You said this is the best you've seen in years.
In a couple of years, anyway. Not in a long, long time, but certainly in the last 2 years, this crowd is fired up.
Tilley Tough rebound into the hands of Norvell. Took it away from Mitchell.
I thought Mark Few could have used a timeout. You really, this is a tough building. You don't want to get down big to start this game.
Melson, Perkins off the bounce. He lost it. Third turnover by Gonzaga. Sending Watson on the run. Attacks. That would have been a huge one. Norvell takes it at Pope. 3.5 minutes in, a 0 still on the board for Gonzaga with 3 turnovers. Pope slipping and finishing. 11-0 San Diego State.
As you said, Carter, a great job of screening and slipping to the basket and finding Pope.
Perkins. San Diego State a chance to extend.
Yeah, they need a timeout. I'm a little surprised. Mark Few knows his team much better than I do, but on the road like this, I think he needs to settle his team down a little bit.
Mitchell.
That's a heat check. I don't know about that one.
They made 6 threes in the last game. That was 12 days ago against Cal. Big reason why the Golden Bears are able to come in here and win. That one finally tipped in by Tilly. So 4.5 minutes in, Gonzaga has its first points.
I think some of these San Diego State kids, like Mitchell, looks a little gassed right now.
Ready for the break.
They're ready for the break.
Watson in the paint. Attacks. Can't finish. Fight for the loose ball. Won by the Bulldogs. So Melson will push. Norvell on the wing. Can't finish. Play on. Follow goes for Melson.
I mean, Devin Watson that time did not even get back. He stood at half court for San Diego State. He's holding his knees right now. These kids are dog tired after 5 minutes. A very emotional game and a fast, quick start.
This is Hemsley on the wing. Shooting slump for him. Down the baseline. Kick out. Malik Pope. Shot fake. Takes it. And drills it. Malik Pope gets into the three-point act. 4 made threes for San Diego State after the ice-cold shooting performance in the loss to Cal.
And this is against a man-to-man. That game against Cal was against zone. But you know what? Sometimes because of drill penetration, you shoot better against man-to-man than zone.
Melson behind a screen from Tilly. Malik Pope, tough rebound around Tilly. Long outlet. Watson attacks, rejected by Williams. Zags on the run. Perkins lost it. Lucky to get it back. Tilly pulls up, mid-range, floats in.
I like this kid. I like what Mark Few did in his last game. He doesn't start Williams, doesn't start Tilly, because against North Dakota, they didn't play as hard and as tough as he wanted. They came off the bench. Tilly 27 in the last game. Jonathan Williams 17 and 14.
6+ minutes in, we haven't had a break yet. Aztecs turn it over. Tilly had head to Norvell. Gosh, he can finish, can he?
I like Norvell. This kid really... Talk about a guy who's got ice in his veins. He's not afraid of anything. Mark Few was telling me his story. I was getting ready to take him out of a game, and all of a sudden the kid, he was awful in the first half, and he just starts lighting it up. The kind of guy you want to have. Plays bad, but can pick it up on his own.
That's coaching.
Well, I don't know if it's coaching. It's called good players.
Tilly
Tough players.
Still no break. 7 minutes in. Help coming on both sides of the scores table.
If this keeps up, we can get a red eye tonight.
Sure. I mean,
this will be the fastest game ever.
We'll be home for Christmas. 3. Pope knocked out of bounds. It's into the hands of Mitchell. He's going to pull up the reins.
Well, look at him.
Yeah, exactly. You can see it now. They're like, when do we get to the under 16? We're doing the under 12.
They don't train for a marathon. They train to play basketball.
Well, you can say San Diego State is fresh with 1 game in the last 17 days. Pope on Tilly on the baseline. Backing in Malik Pope, tries spinning. Tilly knocks it away, and Gonzaga runs again. Norvell on the wing. He'll take it and finish again. It doesn't always look pretty for Norvell, but finds a way to get it in.
He's an attacker, Carter. This guy will attack in transition. He will shoot three. He's not a great three-point shooter, but he's the kind of guy, 34% right now. He will be a great three-point shooter. Right now, a better attacker off the dribble.
We are under 12, and we still haven't had a dead ball at under 16. So after the 11-0 start for San Diego State, a bit winded. Finally, Rooks, a 7-footer from San Marcos, California.
Great move by Rooks. I'll tell you, the guys at the scorer's table, I kind of want to get in the game.
So Few doesn't take a timeout, lets his Bulldogs play through it. They whittled it to 4, and Norvell outside. Tough rebound. Williams around. Rooks fouled. That is on the floor. And now, finally, we have our first break. The under 16 timeout comes with 11:27 in the first. Hot start for the Aztecs, leading by 6. Won't be a long time before we get another break. There's another one coming for the under 12 timeout. San Diego State with 4 made threes early.
Well, here's a team that only averages 6.5 threes, 30% on the season from 3, and they came out lighting it up. It changes everything for San Diego State when they make threes. Gonzaga, on the other hand, averages 10 threes a game. They haven't made one yet. But let me tell you this, Mark Few didn't call timeout. Now, he has one of the best road records ever in the country right now, and he doesn't call timeout, so he knows a little bit better than me about what his team does and doesn't do.
And I'll tell you what, playing through it, and at that point the Aztecs started to look tired and got it to 4. Now it's at 6.
You know, one thing that I've admired about Mark Few all these years, he is such a calm guy. You know what I mean? He just takes everything in stride, and that's how his team plays.
10 NCAA tournament wins in the last 3 years. The breakthrough last year, Final Four championship game against North Carolina. Major losses, but Gonzaga is back. The 2 losses, double OT to Florida and Portland, Villanova and New York City at the Jimmy V. Hachimura it was kicked, believe it was kicked by McDaniels, and that will send us. McDaniels says, wait, I just got into the game. I got to go back to the bench or the chairs.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Wall Shavers. Real guys, real grooming. Visit wallrealguys.com. By Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here. And by AT&T.
I think Gonzaga fans will be happy with us showing as many pictures as possible of last year's incredible run to the championship game. And you think about Mark Few, I mean, Steve, you know how amazing this is to say NCAA tournament every single year.
It's absolutely, first of all, the man is headed for the Hall of Fame at some point. He's still young. I don't believe guys should get in when they're still coaching, to be honest with you. And I know all the guys, Self's gotten in, Calipari, all these guys, but this man is a Hall of Fame coach. And what they did last year, finally breaking through, because think about it. They're not a mid-major, but they were the first mid-major to really make a move in the NCAA tournament when Dan Munson was the coach. Finally, they broke through and made it into the Final Four.
Started as a GA in 1989 in Spokane with the Zags. But in this game, turnover number 4 by Gonzaga early. It was an 11-0 start for San Diego State. Bump on the floor. That's on Perkins, and that'll be his first. Big week here at Viejas Arena Aztec Bowl. Jay-Z was here on Tuesday. Steve Lapis is here on Thursday. That is...
Was Beyonce here too?
Not to my knowledge.
Oh, okay.
There's Trey Kell, floater. Aztec fans happy to see Trey Kell back on the floor. Left quad contusion versus Cal after he's coming off an ankle injury. But he hasn't had a full practice in a month. But number 3, one of the Aztec leaders on the floor for San Diego State.
They've done a great job so far on Josh Perkins. They contested that shot extremely hard.
There's Kell with the board. Second chance off the miss from Montana. Mitchell attacks. 3 Zag defenders, and one of them has a foul. We'll see which one has a foul. We have a whistle down as well. And the foul's going to go on Jonathan Williams.
I mean, this kid Mitchell, really a good off the dribble, big, strong body, as we talked about. And when you can go off the dribble, to augment that three-point shot, he's going to get a lot of opportunities, especially if he can really master that shot fake.
He started the year 0 for 10 from three-point. Since then, he is now over 50%.
You see how it looks. You know what I mean? When it leaves his hand, it's soft and it looks like it's going in.
That's been a welcome sight for some San Diego State fans.
They haven't seen a lot of great three-point shooting. They've seen a lot of great defense and a lot of great teams. Steve Fisher had, I mean, what he did in this program, and you know, we saw today that his is one of the names that came up to be nominated for the Naismith Hall of Fame. A well-deserving honor. Hopefully he'll be able to get in, but I'm also still stumping for Rolly Massimino.
That's absolutely. And it was the head coach when you were on the bench for the '85 championship.
Yes, he was. He passed away a couple months ago.
Away from the ball. Looks like Montana and Williams got tangled up. Well, we're headed towards the postseason, NFL. And who's ready to take you into the postseason? Adam Shine and the whole cast of characters. That other pregame show presented by Kubota, Sunday, 8 a.m. Eastern time on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. The only time Adam steps away from the NFL is to watch Syracuse basketball. That's it.
And we got an illegal screen there, and they're watching that. That's been one of the points of emphasis this year, those moving screens.
On Tilly, his first. Foul issues have been a problem for Tilly, the sophomore from France. He's fouled out twice already. Jalen McDaniels up top. McDaniels off the bounce, attacks, rejected. Foul, Montana spins out. Boarded by Kispert.
San Diego State doing a very good job transition defense early in this game. Not giving up anything easy, getting back, talking, and locating people.
Tilly needs help. Nelson there to give it to him. Nelson trying to drive on Watson. Help from McDaniels. Fight for the rebound. Won by Trey Kell and the Aztecs.
That was very good help by Jalen McDaniels. Everybody very alert, seeing the ball and seeing their man.
So Watson attack behind the back to McDaniels. Watson finds number 5 on the offensive end to make it a 10-point lead again. Hachimura. Attack. There's McDaniels. Both ends of the floor. The redshirt freshman, Jalen McDaniels. And now Kell. Floater bumped. It is on the floor before the shot, so it'll be a baseline inbounds. It is on Melson.
Bulldogs foul number 0, Silas Nelson, first personal, and 14.
Kell in the corner. Watson. Now Kell off the bounce. Kell in the paint. Welcome back, Trey Kell, the senior from San Diego's St. Augustine High School, who's been hobbled. Makes it an 8-0 Aztec run.
What a great move getting in the lane. He's very good with that floater.
With a dish, Hachimura with a foul on Max Montana, so a chance at a three-point play for Rui Hachimura, sophomore from Japan. Hachimura got the start versus IUPUI. And what Mark Few basically said was a message delivered with Tilly and Williams coming off the bench in that game at IUPUI after the close one against North Dakota. But regards to that North Dakota game, Steve, that is a tough North Dakota team. I mean, that was eye-popping to say they went in and took Gonzaga to the wire, but that's a solid team.
I had them in the NCAA tournament last year against Arizona, and they gave Arizona all they wanted.
The dribble, handoff, offensive foul. They'll wipe it out. It's on Pope. So no shot there from Kell. The Aztecs have extended it back to 9 on number 12 Gonzaga. On On the road to the Final Four, a look at two potential Final Four contenders. Florida Gulf Coast on the road in Jack Straw's hometown at 11th ranked Wichita State, 7 o'clock Eastern, followed by Xavier on the road at Northern Iowa. Two good ones tomorrow on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Blewett has been leading the way for Xavier for a while now, including this season. 22-13, Aztecs lead it.
Well, to be a great defensive team, you have to be on a string, and San Diego State does as good a job, but in this particular case, not a great job. Keep an eye on Devin Watson right here. The ball goes into the low post, and Jalen McDaniels comes over with a double team, but Watson does not rotate under the basket. He stands and catches himself watching. When we say be on a string, when Jalen McDaniels moved over to double, he needed to rotate down. Instead, he stood still. That's a rare occasion because San Diego State does a great job of being on a string.
And for more on that, let's check in with John Shriffen.
Well, immediately after that bucket by Nakamura, Mark Few went down his bench, walked down, and looked at each one of his guards and said, guys, we need to get the ball inside. Settle down, get the ball in the paint, and that was the focus of his last huddle.
We'll see if they actually do that out of this timeout. Tilly outside. It's Hachimura trying to fight for position on the post down low. Try to skip it across, taken away by Mitchell. Another turnover by Gonzaga, but they get it right back with a steal by Kispert. Norvell lost it on the way up. Out of bounds off Norvell. Kell bothered him, but they say Norvell touched it last.
Yeah, I don't know if he was trying to go back to Kispert there, but he should have. Kell came over to him. He needed to drop that back to Kispert. Didn't look like that was what his intention was.
All right, Steve, if I had told you that San Diego State has 4 early threes and Gonzaga has 6, 7 early turnovers now.
Well, I'm not as surprised about the turnovers because Gonzaga has turned the ball over. But the threes for San Diego State, a little bit of a surprise. And here's that zone that I thought Mark Few would do a little bit more of.
Oh, McDaniels fights, wins, and scores.
You know, you get a stop and you don't get a rebound. It looked like the change of defense was going to be good. They give up an offensive rebound.
Well, they have been expecting Jalen McDaniels to make an explosive step at some point for the Aztecs. Looking like it tonight. Off the corner, Perkins. But Hemsley chasing. McDaniels defending Tilly. He'll attack, help from Pope. Spins out. Loose ball. Pope somehow saves it to McDaniels.
You know, Gonzaga not looking real good in a half court. They'd rather get up and down and get transition. Right now, they're not getting that in this game.
Kell off the shot fake. Step in two. Cleared by Perkins.
Yeah, they need to push the tempo.
Williams fakes the trailing three, then attacks. Bumped inside. Play on. Mitchell finds Hemsley in transition. Lost it, taken away. Jeremy Jones knocks it away. Norvell around Mitchell with another left-hand finish.
Their best offense in this game so far has been going in transition off a San Diego State miss or a San Diego State turnover. That's how Gonzaga is going to score against this team.
We're going to get to zone again. Open the high post. Finds cutting McDaniels. Kell with 9 to shoot. Off the screen from Pope. Trey Kell in the paint, lost it, out of bounds. Turnover by the Aztecs. That's their 5th. And we'll see Watson come back into the game for Trey Kell. I mean, that's when you compound those injuries and you say a month without practice time, and that's one of your senior leaders in the backcourt for Trey Kell. So he'll get a break. Aztecs lead it by 9. For the team who was 6th in the nation in scoring, averaging 92 points per game, 7 field goals made, 7 turnovers. How much of that is what San Diego State's doing versus what Gonzaga is doing?
Well, it's a combination. Gonzaga is turning the ball over. San Diego State has something to do with that. They're a great defensive team. You're holding people to 38%. Just like we talked about Gonzaga over the last 8 years, San Diego State over the last 8 years, 38% defensive field goal percentage, 30% three-point percentage. So they're running into a really good defensive team that's playing with a little bit of chip on their shoulder after that loss 12 days ago.
Something tells me those numbers aren't going to hold the whole night for Gonzaga. What do you think?
No, I think they'll get better. There's no doubt as the game goes on. And a lot has to do with this kid, Josh Perkins.
Williams gets the second chance. So Williams on Rooks, the 7-footer, boarded again by McDaniels.
I mean, Perkins and Melson, those are two experienced guards, and they've been zipped so far. And I like the idea of Mark Few playing this zone.
Watson, who played for the San Francisco Dons. In fact, he had a huge game 2 years ago. He scored 33 versus Gonzaga in overtime. So the Bulldogs were well aware when that scouting report came up on Devin Watson, the now junior transfer from San Francisco to San Diego State.
Probably played one of the worst games of his career against Cal the other day with 2 points.
Watson, good find for Mitchell. Open look.
Boy, way open. That was a great penetration and kick.
Perkins crosses over on Hemsley. Kick out. Williams 3. First made 3 of the game for Gonzaga.
Yeah, coming from the least likely guy to make a 3. He's 3 for 15 on the season before he made that shot.
Well, the 5th-year senior from Memphis via Missouri. Watson misses the pull-up. There's Norvell. Gonzaga looks to run. Perkins will reset. Aztecs get back to set up the D. Tilly. And now it's back-to-back made 3s after the 0-for-7 start. And now an 8-0 run for Gonzaga to cut it to 3.
Well, interestingly enough, they went to a little bit of a bigger team here, and it's been effective with Jeremy Jones in playing the 3.
11-0 start.
I think
San Diego State is the closest the Zags have been since the start of the game.
I think this zone has really helped.
And that was 6 to shoot, 5 to shoot, into the hands of Mitchell again. And now the 3's starting to rim out for the Aztecs, allowing Gonzaga to go on the 8-0 run. Perkins lost the handle. McDaniels on the deck, and a foul called. Williams going for the loose ball, picks up the foul. It was the Aztecs with a hot shooting start, but the Bulldogs have responded.
Well, now the Zags starting to come back, making a couple of 3s by their big guys, Williams and Tilly, back in the game, losing by 3.
Away from the half, we'll send you back to New York for AT&T at the half. Dana, Pete, and John will see what they have in the Christmas stocking to discuss what's going on in college hoops tonight. Big one on the road for Kansas. Here on the West Coast as well. For more on the Aztecs and the Bulldogs, here's John Schriffen.
Well, guys, head coach Brian Dutcher in his first season as the head coach, but he has been patiently waiting his turn. He spent 9 seasons as the assistant coach at Michigan to head coach Steve Fisher then. He followed Fisher to San Diego State for 18 seasons as the assistant, and he has now taken over as the head coach. Now, clearly, he knows he is taking over for a legend. He is playing on Steve Fisher court. He is in Steve Fisher's old office, but he knows, he said it doesn't bother him. He has high standards he has to live up to, and he is ready for this moment. Now, a good moment for Steve Fisher as well. He is now eligible for the Basketball Hall of Fame, guys.
That's a big, big honor just to be on that list for the Naismith Hall.
No question, and just to be nominated is a huge honor. A well-deserving guy, a great guy, and he did an unbelievable job at a program that wasn't a program until he got here.
Brian Dutcher's dad, Jim, had a terrific run at Minnesota, including a Big Ten title as head coach.
Yeah, he was a terrific coach himself, no doubt. But, you know, this is not an easy spot for Dutch to be in. You're taking over from a legend. That's always hard.
Norvell,
Good
kick
pass.
to the corner. Triple. Rims out from Hachimura.
They're playing big team now. Hachimura playing the 3 spot. Not really what he's more of a 4 than a 3, but now playing the 3.
Montana almost stripped by Norvell. Back into the hands of Watson. San Diego State's gone almost 5 minutes without a field goal. And you think the zone and the length in the zone for Gonzaga is the difference?
The zone has made a difference, and the zone, the other thing it does, it allows you to play bigger. Because Hachimura, probably not ideally guarding a 3-man, now is playing a spot, so it's different. You could play Larson and Tilly together with him because you're in a zone. Pretty good move by Mark Few.
So the 6'8 Hachimura, the 6'11 Larson, and the 6'10 Tilly all out there for Gonzaga, creating problems for the Aztec offense. That was touched out of bounds by Gonzaga. 10 to shoot.
And you notice that last turnover that Josh Perkins had, he ended up at the bench. That was a bad turnover where he basically just gave the ball away. And I was talking with Mark Few about that. And he said some of our turnovers have been unforced, just like that one.
Mitchell attacks. Right at Tilly. Bothered. Play on. Larson ends up with it. The principle of verticality in full effect.
They're starting to go inside. Right, and here's the double team that San Diego State loves to do in the low post, big to big.
Norvell steps outside. Fight for the rebound. Won by Hachimura. Gonzaga's big line. Now they're up, offensive foul. That's on Tilly. That'll be his second. Another moving screen at the top of the offense for the Bulldogs. So Tilly will have to head to the bench. Perkins is coming back in, and there goes some of the size that Gonzaga's used to cut this lead to 3.
And interestingly now, Brian Dutcher went with 4 perimeter players. He's got Montana as his foreman right now. This is probably their best three-point shooting team in the game right now for San Diego State. 4 guys that can make a 3, Shakel being one of them.
Rims out. McDaniels fight for the rebound, and it's over the back on Jalen McDaniels. Fighting for the rebound, that'll be his first. And now we're going to check.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't think that was a good call. I didn't think McDaniels did anything wrong there.
It's on. No, it's. Oh, McDaniels is on Melson.
I can see that.
Okay. So
here it is right here.
Rather than the over the back on McDaniels, it's that on Nelson.
It could have been a nothing.
Yeah.
It could have been a nothing. It certainly was not a foul on McDaniels.
That's. I gotta write that one down. That's a good quote. It could have been a nothing. Yeah. Accurate. So Jalen McDaniels, when San Diego State having trouble scoring against the Gonzaga defense, this is how they get points on the board again. At least 1 point. And now Montana with the offensive rebound off the free throw miss. A big miss for Gonzaga on the free throw box out. McDaniels high post.
And they're doing a good job trying to get the ball into the post area against this zone. That's great offense.
McDaniels right at Larson, strips away.
Until that, it was great offense.
Perkins behind the screen. Hachimura in the paint.
Good move. Strong kid.
That's tough.
But what a job they've done with this kid. This kid didn't speak any English last year. That's amazing. He's done very well in school. It was tough to coach him for a while, no doubt, in terms of the language, but coming along unbelievably.
The basketball piece is starting to come together for Rui Hachimura.
You know, there's a comfort level to come from a different culture. I mean, that's not easy for a kid.
Mitchell off the bounce. Takes it in Larson. Defending tough inside again. Bothers another one from Mitchell. And Jakob Larson, the redshirt freshman from Holt, Denmark, defending the inside for Gonzaga. Last chance for the Bulldogs after San Diego State's missed its last 10 looks from the field.
And I like Larson. They've had a long line of really good foreign big men.
Now Few's ready for him to go. Perkins, step back. Montana's hand in his face. Rims out. There's Kell. So Gonzaga gets the last look of the half. But it's San Diego State, an 11-0 start for the Aztecs, and they lead it at the break, 25-23.
Well, Mark Few's got to feel pretty good. You're 10 for 29 on the road in a tough place, and you're down 2 points. You're knowing you can't play much worse, and it's only a deuce.
9 turnovers, 2 made threes in the first half, and 12th ranked Gonzaga has cut it to 2. 25-23 here at the break. And John Shrivens with Justin Hudson.
Coach, you guys got off to a very fast start, but then Gonzaga slowed the game down with their zone defense. How do you now change that in the second half?
We got to keep moving the ball and make some shots. You know, I thought we operated pretty well against the zone, and we had some good looks. They just didn't fall for us.
Good luck in the second half, Coach.
Thank you.
Aztecs hanging on to that 2-point lead, 25-23. Coming up, AT&T at the half will send you back to New York. It was the hot shooting start for San Diego State, building up an early 11-point lead. But it's 2 at the break on the Mesa.
CBS Sports presents AT&T at the half.
Hi there, welcome into AT&T at the half. Dana Jacobson, Pete Gillen, John Rothstein, our insider there on the end. Gonzaga and San Diego State facing off. And ladies and gentlemen, it is San Diego State on top by 2 right now. Certainly helped that they got off to that 11-0 run, and three-point shooting helped as well.
They were on fire to start the game, and it's unusual because usually they shoot only 30% from three-point land, and they were 4 for 10. Now it's like 4 for 12, but they came out smoking. They really can knock it down from three-point land. Here we go from way downtown. Matt Mitchell, talented freshman, skip pass over to Devin Watson, transfer from San Francisco. Mitchell again, a step-back move. They're on fire. No timeout by Gonzaga's Mark Few. Malik Pope, the senior, was going hardship early. Hopefully he'll make the NBA one day. But a great start. But the game was in San Diego State's favor. The tempo. They want a low-scoring game. Gonzaga scores 92 points a game. They want it up and down. So right now, credit the defense of San Diego State.
But I thought Gonzaga with a tremendous response after that initial run. And I think back to Gonzaga's game a couple of weeks ago against Villanova when Villanova punched them in the mouth and really coasted the rest of the game. You're starting to see some major resolve right now from Gonzaga on the road. They didn't panic. They altered some things defensively, and right now, right back in the game. And what can you say about my guy Jakob Larson on the defensive glass right now? I said he will be the next great foreign big man to play at Gonzaga.
I know he's a distant cousin, John, but take it easy. All right, he's very good.
All right, a handful of other ranked teams to check in on now.
Thank you for watching CBS Sports presentation of AT&T at the half.
Start of the second half, San Diego State leads at 25-23 over Gonzaga with John Triffin, Steve Lapis, Carter Blackburn. All right, San Diego State leads it by 2. Who's more comfortable, the Aztecs or the Bulldogs?
I think the Bulldogs definitely. They can't play any worse. They're down 2, and I think they have figured out that they can stop San Diego State. I think San Diego State's sitting there wondering, can we stop these guys for 40 minutes? I think I'd rather be Mark Few right now, but I wouldn't bet my life on it.
Now, San Diego State, after the hot shooting start, no field goals in only 1 point in the last 7 minutes and 16 seconds. 9 turnovers by Gonzaga, but the Aztecs haven't turned them into more than 6 points in this game.
Yeah, one thing about San Diego State we've seen over the years, offensively they can struggle. They need to get out in transition and get some easy baskets. That's been the hard thing for them. And they started out unbelievably in this game, making threes. 4 of their first 6 three-point shots they made, but they haven't made one in a long time. And I really believe they need 10 in this game if they're going to have a shot to win, because even though it's a low-scoring game, you got to think it's going to be a 40-point second half for Gonzaga. And Killian Tilly woke up against North Dakota, didn't play the way Mark Few wanted him to play. Doesn't start him against IUPUI in the last game, 27 points. Looks like he's starting to get into the flow in this game.
You saw in the AT&T game summary 6 assists for Gonzaga against 9 turnovers. So the Bulldogs, who have been so good on the road, they get down 11 early. They didn't score until 4.5 minutes into this basketball game, and yet 2-point game, a chance to keep that winning streak alive.
And give Mark Few credit. He didn't call timeout. He knows his team. They came back into the game slowly, and now sitting here with it down 2. And look at Josh Perkins. Can he play any worse? Right. No points, 4 turnovers and a half.
So you expect better things out of Perkins in the second half. It's into the post, and Williams earns a trip to the line 11 seconds into the second half.
Well, that came out of the locker room, that play. They set up a high-low play between Tilly and Jonathan Williams. Mark Few wants to get Jonathan Williams going in this game. He rebounded the ball well in the first half, but wasn't really getting the touches in the low post. He gets him a touch to start second half.
How about the compliment Mark Few paid to Jonathan Williams and talking about him coming off the bench and all that? He said he is an unbelievable soul, one of the best people we've ever had in our program. That says a lot. Praise. Now, for the free throw line,
Not great.
Not great.
57%, and a guy who gets fouled a lot. And here, what does Mark Few do? Starts out in the zone. That zone was extremely effective, and I think it changed the game.
And for more, let's check in with John.
Well, and that's exactly what I asked Mark Few. I said, how did you get back into this game? He said, really, our zone was a lot better than our man defense. He said he told his guys at the half, even after the slow start, we are right there in this game, but we've got to take better care of the basketball.
And San Diego State's played against a bunch of zone, but Gonzaga's, well, especially with the big lineup, very effective.
They saw 40 minutes of zone against Cal last week. It didn't work out too well.
Williams off the bounce, creates for Perkins. Melson takes it. Fight for the rebound. Won by Gonzaga. Williams goes back up. Rooks with 2 fouls. Manages to defend without picking up a third.
And that was a great rebound by Jonathan Williams, but he's got to be able to finish that one. One thing I can tell you about this zone, too, they got pretty good size all around. 6'3", 6'4 guards. Pretty long in the big guys in the back.
Mitchell misses the 3. Pope stripped on the way up. Fight on the baseline. Out of bounds. Aztecs keep it off of Melson.
I think Pope's the guy that Brian Dutcher has to really light a fire under. He is probably their most talented guy. And certainly as a big guy, he's got to do more.
5 points in the game. He had the first 13 versus Cal. Here's Pope at the high post, right on cue, Steve Lapis.
Well, that's great offense. That's what you need to do against that zone. And Brian Dutcher told me today, and they did a good job of getting into that area against Cal, just weren't able to convert.
Williams on the shot fake. Gets Rooks dunks on him, and the foul. Jonathan Williams with a man move to the hoop.
Well, the problem is he loves to go left. And they just gave him the left that time. Not real good help there either. They waved at him.
And now back to the free throw. I mean, look at Jonathan Williams from Memphis Southwind High School. Won a state title there, was a huge player, big recruit from Missouri. Led Missouri scoring, rebounding, and blocks. And then made the decision with the coaching change there to come on to Gonzaga. And as a 5th-year senior, has a chance to play a huge role for this Gonzaga team.
One thing about Jonathan Williams, he wants to go left. He wants to go to that right shoulder in the low post. You got to take that away from him.
Back to a 1-point game. Gonzaga has never led. Hemsley. Finally, another made 3 goes down for San Diego State. They have missed their last 7 looks.
And the way he has struggled this year from the 3-point line, Hemsley, that's a good sign.
Williams shot fakes again. This time Pope doesn't bite. So on to Norvell. There's Malik Pope with the rebound. Eyes up, looking to run the Aztecs. Finds Watson. Lost it on the way up. Tilly. Williams got Pope in the air. Kicked her back out. Perkins, opposite. Tilly. Hemsley crossing over, rejected by Tilly.
That was a bad decision by Hemsley. Sometimes you got to pull the ball out.
Perkins, first points of the game for Josh Perkins.
One thing you see from Perkins, he's not going to stop playing. As bad a game as he has played so far, makes a tough shot there.
Huge shots in the North Dakota game. One of the main reasons Gonzaga was able to hold off that upset bid. Watson, floater, spins out. Williams pulls the tough board. Perkins off the double high screen. Tilly lost it. Hit of misery there for Tilly. So you're 6th right now at 92 points per game. One of the reasons why, when we saw Gonzaga struggling, 0 points in the first 4.5 minutes, you know at some point they're going to start hitting.
You have to think so. I mean, here's a team that historically is shooting over 50% every year. This is the lowest they've shot by far this year.
And shooting 51%, 11th in the nation. And yet tonight, Gonzaga's 33%. Montana inside, rejected by Tilly. So Norvell on the run, takes it at Cal. Yep, took the bump. Not called. San Diego State hanging on to the lead. Watson attacks. That is a blocking foul. Count the bucket. And the Aztecs, with a break on both ends, hang on to the lead.
Well, Devin Watson there in full attack mode has Tilly backpedaling. Wow.
Outside the arc, too.
Yeah, I mean, that was really close as to whether he was going for his verticality, Killian Tilly. That was really close.
So Tilly will head to the bench with his third personal at the 16-16 mark. And you talk about a end-to-end where Gonzaga has a chance to take the lead. You don't get a call on one end and 93 feet away.
And he got hammered going through the basket down here. But, you know, just puts in perspective what a hard job referees had. And here's a play where I watch it on the video and I'm still not sure. He's got to make a bang-bang call, Eric Curry. That's one of those ones go either way.
Well, Devin Watson, who was great against the Zags during his days with the San Francisco Dons. Three-point play. Nelson off the shot fake. Norvell outside. Zach Norvell Jr.
One thing I've seen from Norvell, exactly what Mark Fuse told me, he said, this guy won't stop. He's just going to keep putting them up. Unless I put him on the bench, he's putting them up.
Montana. Deep three, his cold shooting continues.
Yeah, he's had a cold year.
And a bump away from the ball. Sending us to an official timeout. It's on Kell. Aztecs hanging on to a one-point lead. A big opportunity for San Diego State to give the Mountain West Conference a major win against number 12 Gonzaga. The Aztecs lead. Time to take a look at our wall eye on the Mountain West. Some of the top players from around the league. Boise State and Nevada. Tough again this year.
Oh, no doubt about it. But this Brandon McCoy, he's not DeAndre Ayton and he's not Marvin Bagley, but he's pretty close. And to be mentioned in the same breath, different, a real low post center. He is a tremendous prospect. He's changed everything for UNLV. And Chandler Hutchinson, Boise State, this kid's a future NBA player. Jordan Caroline is just a flat-out killer. And put him together with Caleb Martin, the transfer from NC State. That's a pretty good 1-2 punch that Nevada has.
Melson turns the corner. Around Kell. Lobs for Williams into the hands of McDaniels. And Mark Few has to say, where the heck was that ball going?
That was just Melson and Perkins have made some decisions that you're like, what are they? These are experienced guys playing a national championship game.
Kell, floater. Aztecs will not give up the lead. Two chances Gonzaga has had at the rim to take the lead, and yet San Diego State still hangs on to it. This will be Gonzaga basketball. Norvell baseline inbounds. And a foul away from the ball. Hemsley and Perkins got tangled up. It's on Jeremy Hemsley. That is his first personal. 13 foul. Perkins resets him. Williams feeding Hachimura with a seal on McDaniels to finish it off.
What a great high-low that was.
So getting into the post for Hachimura, back to a one-point game. Shackle rejected inside by Williams. Back into the hands of McDaniels, though. Kell thought about the three and then throws it away.
Well, let's take a look at this great high-low play that we just saw. You're going to see right here, Hachimura's got his man sealed up, but look at Montana's got his hands down. He's not putting enough pressure on the ball. That's why that pass was able to be entered into Hachimura. But a great positioning by Hachimura there.
And remember John's report from the first half. Hachimura's in the game. Get it to him on the block because he's tough to deal with.
Tough, and you know what? That was just the great footwork that I love. He just reverse pivoted and found himself wide open.
And now Williams off the bounce, off offensive foul. This is on Hachimura with a clear out. So trying to go same high-low. This time the sophomore gets the offensive foul, and it's another chance to take the lead, disappearing for the Bulldogs.
I'll tell you, Hachimura has some body on him. He is a very strong kid. It's interesting, you know, San Diego State may be getting into a pretty good thing with the zone right now. Don't be surprised if you don't see Mark Few change up to the man-to-man. A steady diet sometimes not great.
Perkins looking for help. Nelson there to bail him out. Into the post. Williams.
Double team.
9 to shoot. Perkins tries to skip into the hands of Kispert. Kispert to the free throw line. 3. Nelson rattles out. Malik Pope the board. Perkins went for the steal. Gonzaga sticks with the zone.
I give San Diego State a lot of credit. They're getting the ball where they need to get it.
9 to shoot here. Hemsley attacks. Hemsley rejected inside by Williams. 4 seconds, Aztec basketball.
That was a heck of a play by Williams coming over from the other side of the floor.
Into Kell. 3 seconds. Deep 3. Too deep. Hachimura pulls it. Perkins into the post, taken away. Pope steals it away on the feed to Williams.
It's a bad decision by Josh Perkins.
Another one.
He's made a ton of bad decisions.
Pope left alone. Boarded by Nelson.
You know, it's not often that Gonzaga has to win an ugly game. Tonight, if they're going to win, they're going to win an ugly game.
You're scoring in the 90s, and right now you're in the 30s.
But you know what? It can help you, too.
And now Williams on Pope, another chance to take the lead. Williams lost it on the way up. Pope knocked it out. Into the hands, Kispert, 4 to shoot. Hachimura wants it. Instead, a near air ball. And San Diego State still leads it by a point.
Listen, give San Diego State a lot of credit. They have a lot to do with Gonzaga playing so bad on offense. And now Gonzaga goes man-to-man. I think it's a good switch by Mark Few.
Timeout of the next dead ball.
We've gone a long stretch here without a whistle again.
Right. So Mitchell crossing over. 5 to shoot. 4 to shoot. Mitchell's going to take it himself.
Tough shot.
Now with Hachimura's hand in his face. So.
It's like no offense. It's just like dribble, and there's another turnover. I mean, Mark Few has to be like, what are these guys doing? I mean, talk about coaching, make your hair gray. Right now, Mark Few, these turnovers, making him gray.
Take a look at our Bass Pro Shops keys to the game. 14 turnovers, not the number you're looking for if you're Gonzaga at this point.
The game nobody wants to win. We said Gonzaga can't turn it over. They turned it over. They defensive rebounded. Stopped Josh Perkins. Yeah, they did. I mean, he's kind of stopping himself, too. And then make 10 threes. Looked like they were going to do it early on. Not so sure right now.
Ask you the half who feels better right now, Brian Dutcher or Mark Few. You said Mark Few at that point, 1-point game. Still, how do you feel about it now?
I think Dutcher's feeling a little better.
This looks more like what San Diego State wanted to do to Gonzaga.
The kind of game that you play, you go on the road when you're a good team ranked like Gonzaga, and the other team hangs around and steals it from you at the end. And now they're back to that zone.
Only true road game for Gonzaga was the huge win at Washington. They dominated from the start. McDaniels out of the timeout. 3-point lead again.
I'll tell you what, Brian Dutcher's done a great job of having his team ready to throw the ball into the high post area against this 1-2-2 zone.
Well, there's Culver McDaniels, and there's another turnover from Perkins. Compounded by a foul, and Josh Perkins' long night in San Diego continues.
Bulldogs, second personal.
1 for 6 shooting and 6 turnovers now by Josh Perkins. Tilly's going to come back in with 3 fouls. Zag sticking with the zone. Kell at the top. Hemsley takes the 3 and knocks it down. You think about the 4 trips Gonzaga had a chance to take the lead. Weren't able to do it, and now San Diego State extends back to a 6-point lead.
And you know what happened there, Carter? San Diego State had a guy in the high post. Gonzaga wanted to stop that, and he gave up an open shot on the perimeter.
Norvell silences the show for now.
Mark Few has him down perfect. What he told me about this kid. That was a tough shot. On the road, he just went down 6. He's a young kid, and he does that.
Pope, shot fake on the 3 and gets Norvell to bite. So he bumps him.
Well, Hemsley knocking down the 3 right there. And then Norvell, this redshirt freshman, going to be pretty good.
Chicago's Simeon High School. Baseline inbounds for the Aztecs. Tilly touched it. Watson on the wing. Perkins goes for the steal. Watson can't make him pay.
And it was good dribble penetration by Mitchell there. But Watson, you know, that's not his strength.
Perkins bumped, gets it inside to Williams. Williams can't finish around Pope, contesting at the rim. Watson pushes it ahead. Hemsley kicks it to a trailing Pope. The roof was ready to lift on a 3 from Malik Pope.
Pretty good look. Gonzaga's best offense has been that tough shot. They've taken a couple of tough ones.
1 for 7 now for Perkins. Watson stripped by Perkins, but McDaniels scoops it up and gets fouled and earns a trip to the line. Jalen McDaniels.
Well, take a look at what happens when the ball goes into the high post area. Now you're going to see Jonathan Williams has a tough decision to make. Do I come up on this guy, or do I stay back and protect the basket? He does neither one, and McDaniels ends up with a little 10-foot shot. That's why getting the ball into that post area is so important.
And how about having a guy who can hit a shot that is difficult for a bigger guy?
No question. Hitting that shot and Carter being able to pass out of there, because if Williams does come up on him, now you got somebody open you got to be able to get the ball to. So having a guy in that area that can make that 10-footer but can make a pass, also important.
And how about the ability now to put McDaniels into the game and have him deliver with 8 points, 7 rebounds in 20 minutes off the bench.
He's been their best big guy in this game.
And the lead is back to 5. Aztecs led by as many as 12 in the first half. They've led wire to wire. Norvell misses the 3. Kell with the board.
I think Gonzaga's taken a lot of questionable shots here in the second half.
Into the high post again. Here's McDaniels turning around again and hits another tough one. Timeout, Gonzaga. The Aztec offense finding its rhythm tonight against the number 12 team in the country. They believe the Aztecs will win. And now 8:40 away from a big one for San Diego State.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Wall Shavers. Real guys, real grooming. Visit wallrealguys.com.
That is the Gaslamp District in downtown San Diego. We are in Montezuma Mesa, San Diego State. Cal, last game, December 9th, before this big break, it was the comeback for San Diego State to be in a position, but then it was Cal making the plays down the stretch and a 63-62 win.
Well, you know, Cal played 40 minutes of zone. And I think that San Diego State has worked very hard at playing against zones because they're expecting it. They expected Gonzaga to play him zone, not as much as they have. And Brian Dutch has done a great job at working at where he wants the ball. Making some shots always makes it look better, your offense. Let's understand that. But they're getting the ball to the places they need to in that post area. And give Jalen McDaniels a lot of credit. This kid is playing himself a pretty good game.
November of 14. Last win against a ranked team against the Utes. And with a house rocking, sellout crowd, even with the students on break. They've showed up tonight at the Ajas Arena Aztec Bowl. Williams inside. Tough finish.
Their big guys work very well together. That time, Killy got the ball, he pivoted, faced the basket, and Jonathan Williams dove.
Watson on the wing. This is Matt Mitchell. Mitchell in the paint, fighting his way in, and one. Count the bucket. Mitchell finishes with a bump from Norvell, so a chance at a three-point play. The Aztecs respond after a big bucket for the Bulldogs. A freshman from Riverside, California, Matt Mitchell, with another timeout.
San Diego State leading the Bulldogs of Gonzaga 46-39. But one of the best things that Gonzaga's done in the second half in their offense has been big-to-big passing. Right here, the ball goes to Killian Tilly in the low post. Now look at Montana. He's in no man's land. He comes and gives a half, not really a good double team. Williams dives, and nobody cuts in front of him. And what happens is a nice pass. Montana comes over a little late. Nobody rotates in front of Williams, and he ends up with a basket. That's been their best offense. And if you recall, Carter, they came out in the second half. That was the first play they ran, was a high-low between the big guys. I think that's what they have to do in the rest of this game. Go high-low as much as you can.
So that tells you that's where Gonzaga and Mark Few has confidence right now with his offense.
Well, I wouldn't have confidence in my guards.
Right.
The way Melson and Perkins have played.
Well, that's
I think you got to get these big guys touching the ball high-low.
8 turnovers in the game for Josh Perkins.
And there it is.
There's Tilly high. There's Williams low. And the Aztecs are ready, but they foul Williams, and a little chatter between Williams and the freshman Mitchell. Have to get between him. We got a technical. It's on Mitchell.
Looks like both.
Yeah. And David Hall will get it straightened out of the scorer's table.
But what did Mark Few do? High-low.
High-low.
It's a personal foul as well. Matt Mitchell saved now.
Double technical.
Double technical.
There you go. All right.
Mitchell and Williams.
It was slow getting delivered.
Yes.
Inside college basketball coming up next. Back to New York with a full recap before the big holiday break for college hoops. So it is double technical foul on Williams and Mitchell. Williams at the free throw line makes it a 5-point game. Malik Pope will check back in for San Diego State for Jalen McDaniels.
I think you can expect in the last 7 minutes Gonzaga to just go high-low as much as they can. And they're sticking with the zone. Let's see if they can take away that high post area. Look at Perkins. Right into Pope. Get it right away.
Right into Pope on Williams. Can't stop it.
Josh Perkins was right in front of him and let him catch the ball.
Tilly. Williams. High-low again. Aztecs double the post. So slipping inside into the hands of Montana. Now Tilly and a loose ball. It's on Tilly. Loose ball foul mixed up with Montana, and that is Tilly's 4th. He'll have to check out Hachimura back in. And because that's a loose ball foul and you're now in the bonus, San Diego State has a 1-and-1.
A new call. That used to be you just took the ball out of bounds. It was considered team control. Much better rule change. Now it's a loose ball, and then shoot the fouls if you're over the limit.
And what a Consequential foul 90 feet away, and you send Montana to the free throw line for a 1-and-1. Formerly Max Hotzel, formerly Indiana Hoosier, now Max Montana of San Diego State. His middle name was Montana. His German father Holger, Danish mother Heidi gave Max the middle name Montana because they love the state. He's choosing to go with Max Montana. There was some sweat on the ball, hence the delay. And now Montana 1-and-1. Known as a shooter, but as you said it, Steve,
he has not shot well
all year. He's coming back from yet another injury. He's had 3 surgeries on his right knee.
You know, Gonzaga is really in the danger zone right now on the road.
Second one spins out. 8-point game. Gonzaga trailed by as many as 12 in the first half. Made it a 1-point game, but they have been unable to take the lead tonight at Viejas.
Melson and Perkins 2 for 16.
Norvell tries to turn the corner. Out of bounds. Off of the Aztecs. 11 to shoot.
This is one of those games, if you're a coach like Mark Few, he's just trying to grind this thing out any way that he can. The normal answers have not been there.
8 to shoot. Perkins off the screen. Perkins, Williams wants it. Shot fake, attack, and jams it home with a flex of the muscles. He's earned it. Jonathan Williams with another man move to the rim.
One thing about him, he is athletic, and give him credit, goes with the right hand and then switches back to the left. That was a big time. Wait a minute now. That was better than I thought. I'm glad I was able to see it twice. He goes with the right, and then at the last second goes with the left.
And then Hachimura with a rebound off the free throw miss. Norvell. Chance at a 5-point trip for Gonzaga, and instead it's back to the Aztecs. I would get Jonathan Williams a ball again after this move.
Not a great closeout by Malik Pope on a guy who can't shoot, by the way. Let me just say that. And to close out like that and let him drive, it's a great play by Williams. Not good defense.
And some late help.
Yeah, really late.
15 boards in the game for Jonathan Williams, double-double.
I think Mark Few got what he wanted when he benched him, or didn't start him, I should say, last game.
Now on the deck, Hachimura steals it away from McDaniels. Timeout granted to Gonzaga. So Hachimura gets on the deck, controls it, and gets the timeout called. Will it be enough to spark the Zags? Down 6 on the road. Bulldogs have had a memorable win in this building. NCAA tournament here in 2014, beat Marcus Smart's Oklahoma State Cowboys and lost to a loaded Arizona team in the second round here in San Diego. Well, the Bulldogs, if they can find a way to grind this one out, it will be another memorable win in San Diego.
Yeah, this is just flat out, you got to grind it. Nothing's working. Maybe the high lows a little bit, but you got a team that plays hard, well coached, trying to do the right things. Just your 2 guards are 2 for 16, experienced guards, Melson and Perkins. What are you supposed to do? If they win this game with those guys playing like this, pretty good.
With our producer, Deb Bullock, director, Andy Friedman, our whole CBS crew hoping for a good finish in this one. Carter Blackburn, Steve Lapis, John Schriffen. Norvell makes it a 4-point game.
And this is the most zone Gonzaga's played this year. This team is an 80% man-to-man team, 20% zone. Mark Few obviously saw something in the preparation, and he's played 80% zone in this game.
Watson in the paint. Kick back. Mitchell. Another big one from the freshman from Riverside, Matt Mitchell.
I like this kid. He's great penetration.
Norvell attacks, takes it at McDaniels and finishes. So an answer from Norvell with 5:23 to go.
Here you're going to see why dribble penetration. So look what I have. Stop it right there. All the black shirts are in the lane, and you got guys out on the perimeter waiting for a shot. That's why dribble penetration is the worst thing that can happen to a defense.
7 made threes in the game for San Diego State. It was the hot shooting start, a lull, and now they're starting to go in again for the Aztecs.
I'm going to stick. If they make 10, they're going to win the game.
Well, that would be 3 away.
That would be 3 more.
Three's your magic number from 3.
I'm going to stick with what I said.
Sure. It works.
Well,
you said Mitchell was going to play a big game tonight against the Bulldogs. He has. That's knocked out of bounds. 8 to shoot. Aztecs keep it. Mitchell 13 points, 5 rebounds. Leading scorer for the Aztecs.
And Mark Few always goes man-to-man on a short shot clock. Just before it was 5, he went man. Now it was 8, he went man.
Emsley passes on it, and Kell has to take it. Oh, the follow dunk, McDaniels at the rim. Jams it home. 7-point game again.
That looked like
And now Melson turns the corner. Williams inside. Williams attacks, dumps it. Hachimura fouled on the way up.
I swear, that looked like... You ever play Nerf ball?
Oh, yeah.
All right, it looked like McDaniels was playing Nerf ball here. Look at this, look at this. I said, it looks like that's what I used to do in Nerf ball.
I never looked, I didn't even look that good in Nerf ball. I didn't look that good on a 5-foot rim.
Well, the Nerf thing was like 5, you know what I mean? My brother was like 5, you know what I mean? I was like 10. And, you know, that's what I used to do to him. That's what it looked like.
We said, I mean, Jalen McDaniels, ever since he sat out last year, redshirted last year, he's 6'10". He bulked up to get to 195. Springy, athletic. You start to look and say, he's a guy who could put it together.
He's got to get stronger, there's no doubt about it. But this kid has made shots. He's active. He's alert. I think they got to play him.
13 and 8 now for McDaniels. Hachimura on the other end. He's another guy who could put it together and be scary good. And now with 4:25, 5-point game.
I think Brian Dutcher found something tonight.
Oh, Bergen's he's gambled. Nearly got it that time. 9 to shoot. Watson resets. Watson with a switch. Hachimura. Wow. Watson trying to take it. Watson rejected. Hachimura. What defense from Hachimura, but a foul before the shot clock violation.
They can go to the monitor on this. That was close enough. That's a new rule also. You can go to the monitor to see if it was a foul or the shot clock violation came first. They're going to go look at it, I think.
And so a whistle, and we'll see if there's 1 showing on the clock or whether there's a 0 showing on the clock.
They call the foul. It's a matter of whether what came first.
Right.
Shot clock or the foul. Oh, no, definitely before the... If that's a foul...
Right, so as they sort that out, we head to a timeout with San Diego State by 5. 5-point game, San Diego State. We are still sorting out the shot clock versus personal foul issue that's before that timeout. And while we do that, our Serve Pro player of the game, what do you say? Jalen McDaniels with the springs?
It looks so easy. I mean, I don't know. I mean, first of all, Gonzaga guys standing around watching that, but what a play by McDaniels. Very athletic. He was flying on that.
We got 2 shots. We have a confirmation that the foul is called before that shot clock violation. So Hachimura, who did a great job defending that until the foul with 1 second on the shot clock.
Why is McDaniels the foul line? That's where I'm a little lost here.
Right.
I thought Hachimura fouled Watson going to the basket.
Now they got the foul. The foul was on Melson. It's nice they took the entire break to sort that out and still never made the announcement. So the foul was on Melson, and that is his 4th, and that is why you had McDaniels at the line. The foul was not on Hachimura, on Melson.
Well, that was a strange one.
It sure was, and now on the other end, you got a foul on Montana. And that will send Perkins to the line for 1 and 1. I'm still trying to sort out the foul on the other end on Melson rather than on Hachimura.
Yeah.
Regardless, Perkins at the line, and it has been a long game for Josh Perkins. 1 for 7 shooting, 6 turnovers, and yet with 3:51 to the free throw line and make it a 5-point game, and you got a chance to still escape San Diego with a win.
And a little three-quarter court pressure that they used very effectively against North Dakota.
Kell gets it across.
Man-to-man defense now.
So into the hands of Matt Mitchell.
It's a very small team for San Diego State. You basically got one big guy in McDaniels, and he's about 190 pounds.
So Watson on Hachimura. 2 to shoot, 1 to shoot. That is a shot clock violation, no question about it. So the Aztecs don't get it off and give it right back to the Bulldogs with 3:20.
I mean, if I'm Mark Few here, I'm getting this ball inside because look who's guard. Look at the difference physically. You got Montana on Jonathan Williams. That's not a good match. You got to get it into the big guys now.
Hachimura off the curl against McDaniels, right to the rim.
Big guys, throw it in. Right now, the team Brian Dutch is playing just can't guard those two guys.
So with 3 minutes left, a 3-point game. San Diego State has led the entire game.
That's a foul.
Yep, it is on Williams. That's number 4 on Williams.
I mean, Hachimura here just really overpowers McDaniel. I mean, look at the difference physically in these two kids. That was a bad foul.
And now Melson, Williams, and Tilley all have 4 fouls with Kell to the line. Double bonus now, San Diego State.
You're probably better off going high-low with Williams throwing to Hachimura because Williams struggles at the free throw line. You got to make sure you score every time down. Let him make the pass.
Melson attacks, takes it right at Montana. Again, unopposed at the rim.
Well, look again. McDaniel's the only big guy in for San Diego State now. Brian Dutch decided to go small. Montana's a 4-man. You're going to pay for it in the lane.
Kell, there's Perkins committing another foul. He crossed up Perkins, and that'll send Kell to the free throw line for 2 more.
But they're doing all their damage in the lane, Gonzaga.
So why go small at this point for San Diego State?
I think it's more an offensive thing for them. They think they get more movement on offense, and really, their big guys haven't done it, except for McDaniels. So I think he's got more mobility, he's got more spacing, more attempts to being able to drive with this team.
And Kell at the free throw line. I mean, Brooks, the starting center, doesn't play a lot down the stretch. He's a 57% free throw shooter, so.
I mean, San Diego State just scored 4 free throws in a row where they weren't even trying to make a shot. Can't foul like that.
Melson takes it outside and rattles it home. Back to a 2-point game.
Back to the zone.
First made 3 of the game for Melson.
It's a good zone offensive team for San Diego State.
And San Diego State will use a timeout as the Bulldogs go back to a zone with 2:11. An 11-0 start for the Aztecs. They've led it the whole way. Can they close it out in the last 2:11?
Well, Silas Melson just pulls from 3 off the dribble. Nothing fancy there. Not a great job on the handoff. Kell a little bit late, trying to get around that screen by Jonathan Williams.
Gonzaga in this game, 6 for 24 from three-point, 25%. So you see the scoring production, which has been there all year for the Bulldogs. That's how you get the 92 points per game, especially with Perkins. And until that last 3 for Melson, you would put him on that same list as not getting it done either.
I mean, you know, your 2 most experienced guards, they've got 12 points between them. I mean, they are 4 for 18, and that's with Melson just making a couple of baskets.
out of the timeout. Same lineup out there for San Diego State. So a smaller group on offense against the Gonzaga zone.
Again, this is not a bad zone offensive team for San Diego State. Oh, but they showed zone and went man-to-man, Gonzaga. Very smart by Mark Few.
Wrinkle out of the timeout,
Yes.
5 to shoot. Watson, 3 to shoot. Watson in the paint, shot fake, gets it up, and in with 1 second on the shot clock. A big late clock bucket from Watson. Gonzaga in a hurry. Williams wants it. Hachimura takes a bump. That's on McDaniels. Double bonus.
Well, I'll tell you, Jonathan Williams did a good job for most of that possession there. And that basket's good. Good move by Devin Watson in the lane. Giving that little fake, got Williams off his feet.
And yet the foul, stopping it with 1:36. Hachimura continues perfect from the foul line tonight.
I've been impressed with this kid, too. What a body on him. It's a big, strong kid.
Two-point game again.
Nice stroke from the foul line. And here's the pressure.
This is going to be a huge win for one of these two. Either a grinded-out, ugly one on the road for Gonzaga before the break, or San Diego State playing its first game in 12 days, bouncing back from the loss to Cal with a signature win. That's a blocking foul. As Cal attacks, it's on Norvell. 2 more from the line for Cal. And how about the confidence for Cal late in this game when he's barely been on the floor, even in practice for the last month.
He is one of their best players and certainly one of their smartest players. This kid really knows how to play, and he makes free throws all the time.
5 for 5 tonight now for Cal. Coming back from an ankle injury, then he...
And Gonzaga's just going to take it to the basket. They've been effective against this lineup, getting it in the lane.
Nelson turns the corner. Hachimura spins out. Fight for the rebound. Out of bounds. Off Williams. Aztec basketball. And now Mark Few in the Gonzaga bench is begging for a look at that on the baseline. Under 2 minutes, they can go to the replay monitor to see.
They absolutely should be looking at this.
Looked like it was out of bounds off of Norvell, which is the call, but off of Williams.
Off of Williams.
Yep. So Montana pokes it in. And then out of bounds off of Williams. And to the monitor again to make sure that that's exactly right. But that looks like it's going to be San Diego State basketball with 1:05.
I'm guessing Mark Few knows that ball was off his guy, and he's talking about defense now. They're going to set up their pressure. They don't have to foul. They have to get a stop. If they're down 4 with 35 seconds to go, that's better than being down 6 if they decided to foul right now. It's not time to foul.
One more look at this.
From that other angle we saw, it looked like this one here.
Right there. It's off Williams' face. And the question was whether did Watson touch it or not. Watson did not touch it.
No, they just said
off Williams. Yeah. Confirmed.
So you set up your pressure, solid defense, get a rebound, don't foul, get a rebound, push the ball up, take it to the basket.
With a sellout crowd behind him. School's out, but the Aztec fans showed up to see number 12 Gonzaga. Averaging 92 points per game, 6th in the nation, but only 60 on the board right now for the Bulldogs. Trying to pick it up full court. Aztecs break it easily into the hands of Kell, the senior. And now does Gonzaga foul? And whom do they foul?
They should not foul.
Play it out at this point.
Absolutely. That's what I said. Don't foul. You got plenty of time. That's what Mark Few's telling. Don't foul. What are you doing?
So Kell attacks to the rim and finishes.
And Mark Few was telling his guy, back off of him.
So now with a 6-point game, Perkins, desperation time, draws a foul. Neither coach happy with the way their guys defend in this last minute.
Mark Few did not want Jones to pressure Kell so that he went by him. He was too close to him, and that's what allowed this penetration to happen. Solid defense. Get a rebound. Down 4. We've got time. That was not smart, and Mark Few was very upset with his guy. Jeremy Jones did not do what he wanted there.
And then Kell fouls on the other end. 2 shots, and the long night for Perkins continues. He's not having fun tonight in San Diego.
Absolutely not.
Over 2 from the line. McDaniels.
Now you got a foul.
There's the foul given. It's on Mitchell. Rather, Mitchell's headed to the free throw line. The foul. So the last time Gonzaga lost on the road, February 2016 at SMU. One of the best road teams in college basketball over the last decade plus. And they've run into a tough one tonight in San Diego.
Well, they ran into a team that really guards, and their experienced players, in particular their guards, really let them down.
Let's say this, just a 6-point game at this point, 36.7. Still plenty to prove to close it out.
No doubt. But this San Diego State team, you got to give them credit for the way they played defensively tonight.
Well, one of the big questions is, how do you respond when you have a 12-day layoff? Very odd in December. Just a scheduling fluke. Couldn't get the game they wanted, so 12-day layoff. And the answer is they've responded with their best effort of the year.
They've responded with hunger. They were hungry from the beginning.
Desperation time. Norvell takes it and makes it with 30.6. Back to a 68-63 game. So not out of it yet.
No, well, San Diego State's going to have to make some free throws. Tough shot.
So 5-point game, 2 possessions.
Well, obviously, you're going to set up your pressure. Maybe get one good trap in the corner if you could do it, but you got to foul right away.
And for Gonzaga, they take a 1-week break for Christmas, then back at it in the West Coast Conference Pacific. That opens up on December 28th. For the last time, the only other time they played a true road game this year at Washington, they blew out the Huskies 97-70 in a game that Gonzaga dominated from the start. But tonight it was San Diego State with a hot start. 11-0, 2-point lead at the half, and the Aztecs have toughed it out. You go back to November of 14 for that last win. Last home win for San Diego State against a ranked opponent. They get another break, 6 days, and then at Wyoming to begin. So for Steve Fisher, he was coaching them last time when they beat the Utes in November of 14. But the man who helped build what was called the Miracle on the Mesa, Brian Dutcher, his associate head coach for all those years. Now in his 19th year at San Diego State, this would be a big one for the first-year head coach of the Aztecs, Brian Dutcher. Into the corner, they don't foul, they got the trap, and now at timeout granted. So they get the trap in the corner, forcing the Aztecs to use a timeout.
Well, I think what they want to do is get the ball into Trey Kell's hands, because he's like money in the bank from the free throw line.
Only one timeout left, that's San Diego State's. They have Trey Kell tonight, 6 for 6.
Devin Watson not bad either, 83% on the season.
Well, you have pointed out very early on, you think San Diego State has found something with Jalen McDaniels and the boost that he's given them off the bench tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I really like this kid. He's got a nice touch. He can make the 12, 13-foot jump shot. He's tough around the basket. He's obviously a little thin, very athletic, plays hard. I think he's going to be a really good player. I think they found something. Got to play this kid 30 minutes.
This is his second double-double freshman year. The first was against Bradley. The second against 12th ranked Gonzaga with a formidable front line. And Jalen McDaniels with those 10 second-half points now has 15 points, 10 rebounds in his 28 minutes.
Yeah, I think you got to play this kid. And I think we're seeing something from Brian Dutcher. He's been playing McDaniels and Montana together at the 4 and 5 spot. And I certainly wouldn't call Max Montana a foreman.
Montana to inbound. Hachimura guarding the inbound. Trying to get it to Watson or Cal. And now Montana will have to use the last timeout the Aztecs have available. And the biggest issue late in the game, trying to get it inbound.
Oh, yeah, and now you're going to have, no matter what, you got to throw this thing inbounds.
And this will be a full timeout. Extend to a full. So both teams out of timeouts. You've seen Gonzaga's strategy. Guarding the inbound, going for the trap in the corner. And now can San Diego State deal with it?
And we just heard from our crack associate athletic director, Mike May, the last time Gonzaga scored less than 60 points in a game was December 19th, 2009. That is 7 years ago.
Well, the Bulldogs have just barely reached the number tonight, but pretty amazing. So tomorrow, we told you on the road to the Final Four, this is two legitimate Final Four contenders. Last year, Gonzaga with a huge breakthrough, making it to the championship game. This year, Wichita State could get back there. 9th-ranked Xavier at Northern Iowa. You got an early look at two of the Final Four contenders in a doubleheader tomorrow night on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.
Absolutely, but you know what? It's funny. To hold Gonzaga to 63 points, obviously, is a very difficult thing. I thought the game was going to be decided in the 70s, in the low 70s. That's why I thought San Diego State had to make 10 threes. All right, here's the pressure again. Try to force a 5-second bad pass. Once it comes in, you got to foul right away.
Lowest scoring total of the year for Gonzaga, 72 versus Villanova. They're at 63 right now. And in desperation time, we got an off-the-ball foul. It's on Perkins. And another mistake for the junior from Colorado, Josh Perkins, and that is going to end his frustrating night against the Aztecs. He's fouled out.
And I think it puts Trey Kell at the foul line. Now, you know what? That's one of those good news, bad news. The bad news is you fouled Trey Kell. The good news is no time went off the clock.
So Perkins with 6 turnovers.
Oh my goodness.
And a 1 for 7 shooting night. He's fouled out. And Kell, how about the Aztecs have made their last 10 free throws? There you go. Gonzaga still has a shot.
Oh, no question.
With 27.8, nobody has timeouts.
Hey, look, it's going to be a 2-possession game after this. Now, 2 threes is really a little bit more than 2 possessions. It's 2 possessions, but it's a lot harder than that with 27 seconds to go.
Melson pushes, Melson attacks, can't get the quick 2, but a foul on Kell. Stopping the clock with 20.8 and sending Melson to the line.
And that's good coaching and a good play. Mark Few told his guys, just take it to the basket quickly. And you know what happens in that situation? Defense is up 6. Their coach, Brian Dutcher's telling his guys, don't foul. So a guy usually ends up getting a layup quickly. Good move by Gonzaga.
2 shots from Melson.
Wow.
A 92% free throw shooter. Melson misses the first. Not even close.
3 misses in a row from your 2 guards.
Now we got another clock issue. Time went off the clock on a free throw attempt.
Oh, that's something new.
That's not by the book.
And Mark Few is being really positive with his guys on a very frustrating night.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't realize there were 2 shots.
That's an easy correction. You're going to go back to 20.8. I think that's the easiest clock reset you're going to see all year. Right. Free throw, let's go back to where it was when the free throw started. That's amazing. Got the second. 5-point game again. Foul immediately given.
And a great job by Devin Watson going there and demanding that ball very, very quickly, not giving Gonzaga time to set up their pressure.
And Kevin Tilley has fouled out, so now Kispert's going to come into the game. Pretty quiet night for Tilly. 7 points, 5 rebounds. He fouls out.
Had 7 and 4 in the first half.
Williams going to check back in. Jones comes out. And the Bulldogs are hoping for free throw misses at this point. Watson, the 83% free throw shooter, who's had some terrific games against the Bulldogs during his time with San Francisco and now is an Aztec.
I tell you, Carter, I don't think I've ever seen a team win more games shooting under 40% than San Diego State. They're shooting 36% this team.
It's amazing.
In this game.
Norvell hits it. Wow. And it could have been bumped, too. That was a chance at a 4-point play. Norvell hits it to keep Gonzaga within striking distance. Another foul given in a 4-point game.
I mean, this is just one tough shot. Yeah, that could have been a foul. But I mean, here's San Diego State shooting 36% for the game, playing a team that's ranked. They've won a ton of these games from Steve Fisher. Those I used to come here. They won. I think they won a game once when they shot like 30%, which is like impossible. I don't know how that happens.
Melson's fouled out for Gonzaga. That is 8 points on 3 for 12 shooting for him. The backcourt of Melson and Perkins, long night. And now Cal doing his best to ice it for San Diego State. One for 2. So with Tilly, Perkins, and Melson fouled out. Norvell, step back, triple, tap out, 3 seconds. McDaniels runs it down. It will be Gonzaga basketball, but with 2.4, the AHOS Arena begins to celebrate. And with .1, that 3 is good. And now Mark Few, the clock ran again.
Yeah,
they're going to have to go back and figure this out. Yeah. I mean, the clock ran again before it was inbounded.
Yeah, there's .1 left.
And Mark Few has a reason to be upset. Twice the clock has run when it obviously should not have, on a free throw attempt and on an inbound before it was touched.
And you know, it would have to be a tip anyway.
Sure.
So I mean, the game is over because you can't make a steal and they score and shoot and tip the ball. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the game's over.
So
the game is over.
You would have to have
once it's touched, .3's got to come off.
You would have to have an offensive foul situation on San Diego State.
Force a 5-second count, get the ball out of bounds, and then get a tip.
So
that's it.
San Diego State just get it in, touch it, you win the basketball
game. No 5-second count, the game is over.
No timeouts. Hachimura trying to do his part, inbounds, now it's official. And a huge win for San Diego State, for Brian Dutcher, and for the Mountain West Conference as San Diego State beats 12th-ranked Gonzaga 72-70.
Well, let's face it, a great win for Brian Dutcher, biggest win of his young head coaching career. They did a great job defensively. You have to give them that. They did a number on the Gonzaga guards, and that was the key to the game.
When Villanova beat Gonzaga, they held them to 72. When San Diego State beats Gonzaga, they hold them to 70. And a hard-fought win. Brian Dutcher, after 28 years as an assistant with Steve Fisher, his first year as a head coach, and it smiles all around for San Diego State as they beat Gonzaga 72-70. And what a way to head into the Christmas break for San Diego State. You feel happy about it all right now.
Well, I've been on both sides. Sometimes when you lose, you feel terrible at Christmas. When you win, you feel great.
And John Shrivens with Brian Dutcher.
Carter, thank you so much. Coach, you've waited a long time for this moment. The biggest win now of your head coaching career. Describe this moment.
It's only 11 games in, but it's an awful nice one. Our kids played real gritty and tough. They guarded hard. I thought we got a lot better against the zone. And I thought our kids played hard enough and tough enough to win this game.
You know, that's really where the game changed, when Gonzaga went to that zone defense. What did you do differently?
We worked hard on the zone, trying to move the ball quicker, not hold on to it so long. So I thought we shared the ball good, moved it good inside out, and did a real good job with that.
McDaniels really picked up this game, came out of nowhere. What did you learn about him?
He's an energetic freshman. He's long, he's athletic, and he plays hard all the time. And he's going to have a very special future here at San Diego State.
A big win. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you very much.
Carter?
It was an 11-0 start for San Diego State, and they lead it wire to wire, 72-70. So for Steve Lapis, John Schriffen, our entire CBS crew, I'm Carter Blackburn. The Aztecs win it over 12th-ranked Gonzaga, 72-70. That's a big headline tonight in San Diego, maybe in all of college basketball. But for more on the night in college hoops, back to New York, inside college basketball.
Hi there, welcome to New York City. Dana Jacobson, John Rothstein, Pete Gillen here with you guys. I hate to say it, you picked wrong. San Diego State came up with the win. I mentioned a stat earlier in the night, 173-25 at home since 2006. Make it 174-25.
Yeah, credit the defense by San Diego State. Gonzaga comes in averaging 92 points a game. They hold them to 70 points. Great defense by San Diego. Both teams struggled offensively, but a tremendous win for the Aztecs.
And a tremendous win for the Mountain West Conference. And we don't know right now how many teams in the 2018 NCAA tournament are going to be from the Mountain West, but San Diego State didn't just give itself an opportunity to potentially get an at-large bid if they play well in conference play down the road. It elevated the entire league. This is a major victory for a conference that the past couple of years has only had one team in the NCAA tournament.
And what does Gonzaga now take away from this loss?
Well, they've only had 2 road games. They went up to Washington, played great against Washington with a new coach and a new program, but this was a tough game. So Gonzaga's got a lot of work to do. They got a great team. They got one of the best coaches, the best winning percentage of any active coaches, Mark Few. So he'll find out a way. But they lost, 3 starters from last year's team. Yep. Only 2 guys are back. And when your point guard doesn't play well, John, you know you don't play well. Josh Perkins coming into the game. He's averaging 15 points a game, and he's averaging 60 assists and only 31 turnovers, almost 2-to-1. He had 6 turnovers tonight. He shot, poorly, only scored 5 points. When your point guard struggles, your team struggles. Their point guard struggled tonight. Therefore, Gonzaga struggled.
And those turnovers, by the way, tying a career high for him.
Well, and, another thing, too, we need to remember about Gonzaga, even though these players are in a situation where there's familiarity with playing in meaningful games, the guys right now making the big decisions at crunch time are all going through this for the first time. Last year, Nigel Williams-Goss, Jordan Matthews taking big shots for Gonzaga, Jonathan Williams, Josh Perkins obviously on the floor in those big moments, but they were ancillary pieces to the puzzle. Right. Not anymore.
And we'll see if maybe San Diego State will actually see how both teams now take their paths from here entering conference play. All right, we are just getting started. Inside College Basketball rolls on right after this.